Welcome to another episode of RIO's how-to video series. I'm Russell Miller with RIO Products. Today I'm going to show you how to set the hook. This is a really easy thing to talk about, but it's a very difficult thing to put into action. People have a lot of issues with this when it comes time to actually put a hook into a fish's mouth. The three scenarios we find ourselves in is fishing dry flies, fishing nymphs, and fishing a streamer or any fly under tension. They all require a very different hook set. And here's the reason why. When we're seeing dries breaking the surface and turning back down, they're coming up, down, and as our fly drifts towards them, they eat, they turn down, and what we need to do is drive that hook point in the opposite direction that fish is moving. So what we want to do is we want to lift that rod high and drive that hook point right up into the side of the fish's mouth as he's turning down. Wait for it, boom, set the hook hard with authority. I've positioned myself just downstream of the riser that's right over here. That way I can make my cast upstream, drift the fly back towards him, and have a really great hook angle. In order to do that, I've got my 4-weight method with me, click reel, and the RIO Perception fly line. The Perception is one of my favorites when it comes to dry fly presentations, when I'm wading in particular. It's got a really nice front profile to it with a little bit of mass in the rear. Loads up these fast action rods quickly and accurately. Got him. Did you see how I lifted that rod tip nice and even as that fish went away? Fairly aggressive take by that fish. If I can keep his heads up, there we go. Nice little eager dry fly eater here. Beautiful little guy. And that's how you set the hook on a dry fly eating fish. It's about good positioning of your body, in addition to a good steady hand when setting the hook. So we're stopped here alongside this great piece of broken water, and I think it's a really good opportunity for us to have a look at setting the hook while nymph fishing. With me I've got the Sage X 9-foot 5-weight with the extreme indicator line on it. This is a really comfortable setup to fish this method. I've got a nymph and 2 small flies on there. And I'm going to step in and start working up and across the water and hopefully be able to show you that really good hook angle that's going to be key to converting those bites you get with the indicator rig. There he is. So I got this fish on now finally. And with that I was fishing the outside of this seam here when he ate just down below me. And because of the angle I was at while he was down below me, I had to really set my hook low and way down to the side of me in order to get that hook point in that fish. It's about being able to adapt to a lot of different conditions. If it was upstream of me, I would have had to set this way. But since it was so far downstream of me, I had to really set low and to the side in order for that one to get in there. We've got one of the Idaho natives on the line here. A nice big mountain whitefish. Easy release there. So I'm just going to show you one more time what I did there because it all happens pretty fast. I cast my nymphs across the surface, I gave a nice mend, and by the time they got down to the right level, I was right here. Indicator went under and I set the hook low into the side. And what that did, the little mouth of the whitefish, it pulled my nymphs right into the side of his mouth there. Had I set at a different angle, had I set at this angle, I would have literally removed the flies from his mouth. It's a way I can fish a lot of water downstream of me and just change the angle that I set the hook at based on where I am in the run. It's a great opportunity for you to convert a lot more bites into fish to hand and have a little bit more fun with your day. So this is perfect conditions to fish the streamer, and I think it's a really great opportunity for us to show you guys how to do a good strip set while fishing some streamers. I've got 2 streamers rigged up here. I've got a black one chasing a white one. I've got my 691 method, 4250 reel, and I've got the RIO's 200 grain in touch sink tip line, 24 foot. The in-touch lines are really great for this, right? Because you're pulling, and that connectivity gives you better sensitivity to detect when you're getting a bite and make sure you can feel when it's time to really set the hook. Because there's a big difference between setting the hook and pulling on it and laying into it. I think I've got a perfect bank here to work in front of me that I think is a great opportunity where I've got some confidence that I can hook one of these fish and show you guys how this all works out. Can't tire them out a little bit. Nice little streamer caught brownie here. Not the biggest fish in the river, but with the streamer bites, the takes are all really aggressive. And you can see when I was stripping it, how I just kept pulling to keep that tension on the fish, and he came right in. I'll show you one more time. So I made my cast out here, he came right off that seam, and as I was stripping, I continued to strip and I pulled the rod to the side. And now once I knew I had him on is when I stripped and then moved the rod. I think a lot of people find themselves, when they're streamer fishing especially, they move the rod first and then strip. And when you have a 9-foot long rod and you pull to the side, that's gonna move your fly 10, 15 feet. You can see here I'm moving 1 foot at a time. And so what I do always, I strip, 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 feel the take, feel the tension, feel them on, then I can lay into them, right? I know I've got them hooked then. I really appreciate you tuning in for another episode of RIO's how-to videos, and I sure hope this one drives it home for you on how to set the hook on fish in a variety of situations.